Hey, hello friends. Welcome back to Blue Pig Reviews. Tonight we're going to be making a cocktail known as the Blushing Rose. It puts Hennessy, Chambord, a little bit of grenadine, and some fruit together. And it's going to require a little cutting work, so let's get started. And it's a shaken cocktail, so you might want to chill a coupe and get ready. Get your strainer and your double strainer out. So, let me get my cutting board over here. And what we're going to need is 2 strawberries cut because we're going to muddle them. When I do that with strawberries, I get them in the quarters, chuck them in there. I know it looks chunky, but that's what we're going to get. Do 2 of these bad boys. Let's get this bigger one over here. You can pre-cut and set your game up, but get it into quarters. I'm going to save that last strawberry for my garnish. Then you're going to need 6 to 8 blackberries if they're large. If they're small, you may need a few more. I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to do 10. Save some for my garnish. That's in there. And then I'm going to get it. Muddler. We're going to muddle that up a little bit to start it. I carried away. So I'm also going to need 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. And mine are fresh squeezed, so I'm going to strain some off and then remeasure into another glass. You're going to have pulp in there. Strain off a good amount. And then put the rest over here. Back in my jar over here. And we're going to measure off 3/4 ounce into another glass. Measuring glass. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Freshly squeezed. Rest this out of our way. Seal up our jar. I don't want to make a mess. And we're going to need a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. You want to get in there with your muddle. And I bought store-bought. You know the formula for a simple syrup is 1:1. Water the syrup, stir it up until dissolved, and get that going. And that's just going to give a little sweetness that the fruit doesn't have. Give that a muddle. I use any one out of the supermarket, but I usually make my own. If it's rich, I definitely make my own. I would never buy it. We're going to muddle this as best we can, get all those juices out of there. And, the mix, you don't have to go crazy. Just bash it up. We're trying to get the juices out. The flavors muddled in with the syrup, lemon, and fruit. That's mashed up real good. Got a lot of liquid in there. And then to this, we're going to start to add our ingredients. We're going to need a 1/2 ounce of Chambord, raspberry, or your favorite raspberry liqueur. Chambord is just me. I know there are lots of others out there. You only need a 1/2 ounce. Chambord is everywhere. Comes in a bunch of sizes. Ball-shaped bottle, a little hard to put in the bar, but works. And for our cognac, you're going to need 2 ounces of Hennessy, or your favorite cognac. Pierre Ferrand, I also use a lot. Hennessy, however, is the house mixer. 2 ounces. And if you're feeling bossy, you can go 2.5 ounces on that. And your last shot is going to be, we're using lava grenadine. You need a bar spoon of this. And that's going to be your blushing, I guess, and the blushing rose. Put a bar spoon of that in. Get that out of our way. These bad boys out the scene. And your mixing tin full of ice. And we're going to shake the heck out of this. Nice chill and 19 corporation. You get it? Crack that bad boy open. Put that aside. And this one's going to need to be double strained, but we're going to get our frosted coupe first. Yeah. Or you can do a frosted rocks glass, but I prefer the coupe. And we're going to double strain this. So we need our Hawthorne strainer and the fine strainer we used before. And let the party begin, because there's a lot of seeds and density in there. And it's going to take a little doing. And if you some people will just strain it and let the seeds go in there and stuff like that. I don't think that really makes a good cocktail, but you be you. And this is thick, so your strainer is going to work to get this out. Definitely is going to work. There's a lot of pulp and seed from the cocktail itself, but that's pretty much the cocktail. I don't know. Let's see what we got. Right. And if you have a bar spoon, you can guide that along a little bit. Try to clear some of the debris out of the bottom. Sometimes that happens. That's what I do. Give that a little push. This is usually the blackberry seeds are at. And blackberries are on sale this week by me. But they can get up in price sometimes during the winter. So this may not be your favorite winter cocktail, and I am making this at the end of winter, but it is what it is. It's kind of at the whim of the market, and then I guess after a while, they go back on sale. We'll just get the last of that out. Put our shaking tin aside. This may be the most laborious part. Maybe my strainer is not as good as any other, but it's a blushing rose. Got me blushing a little bit. Put that over here and strain. Let's get that out. Give that a couple of turns last time. And we're looking good. Makes you want to just pour that in there, but let's take our time, get the quality. It's ours. If you don't care, you can always do that. You can just pour that right in there. You could just hawthorn strain it and love the seeds. I mean, I don't know. They could be an integral part of your cocktail. We're going to wind that down. And I think we got it all. Right? So that's all in there. And what it is once that's gone, you get a little bit of foam on there. Put that aside. Get that out of our way. And then lastly, we want to garnish this. What we want to garnish this with is a little bit of a seasonal berry. And since it's made with strawberries and whatchamacallit, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a strawberry wheel with 2 blackberries. Spread it on there. See how good that looks? Probably looks pretty solid. Or I could have done the strawberry wheel, but put that across. And that's my cocktail. Looks a little bit like a nose and eyes. The blushing rose. So let's see. Yeah, the garnish is a little large for the game. Just drop it in there. Okay. That's berry forward. Very fruity. Not incredibly sweet, but on the sweeter side, but you still get the tartness of the lemon in there. You can taste the underlying sweeter raspberry notes from the Chambord, the fruit of the blackberry and strawberry is in there, and of course the fruit notes from Hennessy. That's a winner. Blushing Rose, Cognac Chambord and Grenadine and fruit haven't tasted this good in a while. Remember, if it tastes good, then you're drinking good, and the Blushing Rose is definitely tasting good. So it's all good. So go out, do a little blushing. And if you blush, make sure you blush rose.